Here's something that just came just a few minutes ago, basically, just long enough for me to get it out of the box. This is a complete air conditioning kit to go in the C3500HD truck I just got, and which did not have air conditioning from the factory. Most of them do, but the one I bought did not. And so I bought this to put it in it. And actually this cost less than, if it had the factory air and it wasn't working, it probably would have cost me more to fix it than buying this kit. Of course, there's going to be some labor involved in putting it in the truck, but this is a heavy-duty kit, and it's designed for large trucks and vans and so on. So I think it should do a really good job, hopefully, of cooling the interior of that truck. And so comes with instructions, and they're not Chinese instructions. This is sold by a company in Florida, and so it's got good instructions on how to install it. Comes with, this is the evaporator. This is the part that goes inside. Evaporator, twin fans, and the controller, which is separate. On some of them the controller is built into the case, but I specifically wanted the separate controller and the round ports so I can attach hoses to it and move the vents to wherever I want them. And this is an underdash unit, but I'm thinking about actually mounting it under the seat, and for that reason I asked for additional longer hoses so that I'll be able to extend it far enough to mount it under the passenger seat, because that's what I'm thinking. And I'll trial fit this under the dash and see if it'll work there, and if it will, then I'll just have a decision to make. But I'm thinking I'm probably going to mount it under the seat and have these hoses, or hoses from the ports, going to where I want to direct the air. And so that's the first thing I'm going to do, is just take it out to the truck and trial fit it. And it comes with, this is the compressor. Sandin 508 style. It's not a, in other words, it's a Sandin 508 clone. It's not an actual Sandin, but it looks like good quality, and I've read good reviews of it and everything, so hopefully it'll work out well. And in this box is the dryer, relay, the fittings, binary switch, grounding cable, and wiring harness. And this, of course, is the condenser that goes in front of the radiator of the truck. Comes with two 12-inch fans to mount in front of that, so you know, if I'm sitting in traffic or whatever, I can have the fans running so that it'll still keep the condenser cool, so I still have air conditioning. And it came with 3 different sizes of barrier hose. It says R134A AC hose, so that means it's barrier hose. Comes with 3 different sizes: 13mm or 1/2 inch, 8mm or 5/16 inch, and 10mm or, what is that, 13/32? Yeah, just over 3/8. So there it is. And the first thing I've got to do is, like I said, I'll trial fit this and make a decision as to where I'm going to mount it. And the second thing, of course, will be mounting this to the engine. And this won't be any problem, you know, just mount it to the radiator support. That's no big deal. But this will be these two will be the biggest issues, and they won't really be an issue. I mean, you can buy a bracket to fit this to the engine, but I would prefer to make my own. And so the truck actually has a vacuum pump in it that, as it turns out, most people eliminate that vacuum pump anyway, because all it does is control the wastegate to the turbo. And so most people go for manual control of the turbo, and that's what I plan to do. So I'll be putting this in the spot where the vacuum pump is now, and I probably will be able to just fab up some bracketry to fit it to the original vacuum pump brackets. And anyway, we'll see how that goes. If I end up having to buy something, so be it. But hopefully I won't have to. So once I get those two things figured out, then the rest of it will just be, you know, cutting hose, routing it to where it needs to go, and cutting it and putting the fittings on it and connecting it all up, connect up the wiring, pull a vacuum on it, and then charge it with the R134A, and I will have air conditioning. So follow along and see how this goes. So this is the way it looks right now. I popped the glove box out. See, it just pops out. And there's not much room under there. I mean, it will be possible to ride, you know. Anybody riding in the passenger side with it mounted like that their knees would be up against it a little bit, but the thing is, the glove box wouldn't be usable anyway, and so if I were going to mount it there, I'd do better to go ahead and remove these vents and cut the supports for them out. And that way I will be able to move it up further and move it, you know, back that way. Since the glove box wouldn't be usable anyway, no point in even having it in there if I were going to mount it this way. So that would be usable. And, you know, I could have build a new glove box under the seat or something. But I'm planning on removing this bench seat anyway, and in reality, I could fit it under the seat. I would have to take the seat out and fit it down in the framework, and attach hoses to these, and bring vents up. I could actually do that even with the bench seat in it, and I would have use of the glove box. And so if I wanted to keep the bench seat, I could do that. And it's got here's the switches. I could mount those either under the dash somewhere or in the dash. You know, there's space for mounting stuff in the dash. So I might mount those two switches maybe right there or something. But these, you know, since it doesn't have factory air conditioning, these are just vents, so losing those wouldn't be a problem. But I'm planning on like I said, removing this bench seat and replacing it with a pair of bucket seats. And that way I will have space between the seats for mounting radios. And so what I'll probably do is mount this on the floor under the seat on the passenger side. And whatever bucket seat I put on this side, which it might be two totally different ones. Good chance that it will, in fact, because I've found a, and I may have it by the time this publishes, but I've found a set of seats for a 2000 Toyota Camry, and the back seat is available and both front seats are available, but the front seat, of course, though, the driver's seat is what normally gets the most wear and tear, and that's the case in this one. And in fact, it's been in a wreck, and they say that the bracket is broken, or the rail or something is broken on the driver's side, but the passenger side looks good. So and it's cheap, so I might just buy that passenger seat and put it in here on the passenger side. And I have an air ride seat for an 18-wheeler that came with when I bought my bus. The guy I bought it from threw in that seat. It wasn't attached. He had bought it with intentions of putting it in the bus, and so he threw it in when I bought the bus from him. So I might put that on the driver's side. I don't know. But anyway, whatever bucket seat I put over here, I'll probably build my own bracket set and set it up a little bit higher so that there will be lots of space underneath to put this. And again, with the round ports, I can run hoses from them, and you can also get the louvered ports to fit in these, or to fit at the end of hoses, so that you can direct the airflow or shut it off or whatever. So I'll probably do that, put it under the passenger seat, and then run hoses to where I want the vents to be. And the other option that I considered, though, is there's quite a bit of space behind the seat even now, and especially after I go to bucket seats, there will be. So that's another thing I thought about, is, in fact, it's got a box back there now that had switches in it, or has relays actually, and I'll be removing that box, but I could actually mount the air conditioner to the back wall between the seats or behind one of the seats or whatever, and run hoses from it, and that'll be another good way to do it. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. Where do you think I should mount the air conditioner? Behind the seats? Between the seats? Well, behind one or the other of the seats, between the seats on the back wall, under the passenger seat, or under the dash where the glove box is? Leave a comment and let me know.